Toma to my left, yeah, that's David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. If you guys aren't watching this on battleviewer.com, go over there right now and check out that experience. And also, as always, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you.
You can also check out the question of the day, which is, what should we call the Rheinmetall Borzig Waffenträger?
That is right. I mean,
I can't believe I made myself say that so many times.
Yeah, you're doing a fantastic job. I think we should call it that if you can, but if you can't, I say call it the waffle.
I'm going with Borzig because it's just more technically accurate.
That's right. But ladies and gentlemen, now up next we have Maple Freedom versus High Voltage. The face-off is ready. Out of sight, we is here for Maple Freedom to Killzor for High Voltage. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. Out of sight. I like the hat battle here. We can talk and chat. Which hat is the winner there? Oh, look at the same time. That was not planned at all. Out of sight. Going to go ahead and start with you. Earlier on in an earlier face-off, we asked you what was kind of the most surprising thing coming into the Gold League, and you said it was the pace. It was just a lot quicker than Silver League. Now that we're further on in the season, is that something that you guys feel as you've kind of been acclimated to, or is it something you still need to work on?
As far as the pace of play, I mean, definitely a lot of teams have come a long way. The pace hasn't necessarily changed, but definitely the skill level and the meta, as the season's progressed, a lot of the certain things that teams were doing has kind of varied from week to week.
Okay. All right. But so do you guys think you guys as a team have sped up in a sense?
To be honest, we've had some, ups and downs, but I wouldn't say exactly.
Okay.
If I don't know.
All right. Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys can keep working on that, and hopefully you guys can keep getting up to speed so that the plays don't happen quite as quick.
All right. Out of sight. We asked this question to Spanish. We're gonna ask it to you. Who do you think the biggest character, the biggest personality on your team is?
It's kind of a tricky one. We have quite a number of characters. I'll have to think. I don't know. I'll throw out maybe Felix. Actually, no. I'll change that. You say Roxal. Roxal is probably the biggest character.
All right.
The reason being, I guess, is he got a new job, so he works pretty late. So he, lives on very little sleep. So a lot of the words that come out of his mouth aren't exactly. I don't even know how to describe.
Well thought out.
Right,
Just kind of delusional,
jumbled coming out there.
derpy, as we would call it in my team.
Oh man,
we had our own, but I'm not going to call them out here.
Yeah, good call. That'd be fun to kind of listen into that team chat. But over on the side of High Voltage to Killzor, gonna go ahead and start with you. A question that has been on my mind really since I first was introduced to your team and your team name. What is the difference between voltage and voltage?
I'm not even sure if voltage is a word in the English dictionary. I mean, I wasn't there for the name picking, so I'm guessing one of them mistyped, and they were like, okay, let's leave it like that. See what the casters think of it.
Great. Just simple. Okay. No, like super deep meaning. No, like, oh, it's
I think, whatever. We're gonna move on.
Oh, okay.
All right, Ducky. I'm gonna give you something you've probably been waiting for so long. Laughter on the WGLEU stream likes to joke about you a lot. So here's your chance. Do you have anything you want to say in response?
Well, Lofter's a British person, so the one thing they know how to do is talk a lot. Playing, on the other hand, has been difficult for him for a very long time. Why do you think he ended up being a commentator? Not a shot to you, Naga, but maybe you can interpret it that way. But if he wants to, he can switch with me for like a week, and we'll see who gets more points and who gets better commentating.
Oh, ouch. To Killzor, well said. I mean, that was I hurt. That even hurt me, and I'm not even laughter. Anyway, back to what's going on here.
I'm a caster too, so whatever.
That's true. That's true. Out of sight.
I don't know why.
Any last words to Killzor before we start the battle?
I guess with the theme of the shirt, I was gonna make a chemistry joke, but all the good jokes are gone.
Oh, okay, great. To Killzor, your response.
Just good luck, have fun, and one request from the team. I'd like Twitch chat to say happy birthday to Anfield's dad. It's his birthday today, and he's always watching the stream. So
Awesome. I'm going to say happy birthday to Anfield's dad as well. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what to do when it's a birthday. B for birthday. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Good, best of luck. Hats off to both of you, and we'll see you in the battle.
Happy birthday, Mr. Field. I'm just assuming.
Yeah, it's Mr. Field. That's exactly what it is, Mr. Field.
And the joke there for out of sight was argon, as in the chemical.
Oh, man, I'm so bad.
There we go.
Phew, oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Extending a little bit past what we asked him there for. It's only supposed to bull Reno's laughter, and he came after me. I have no idea what kind of Pandora's box I've just opened, honestly. I expect some bad things to come from this.
We'll see where that goes. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the rosters for both of these teams coming out tonight. Again, Maple Freedom now going against High Voltage. David, looking on the side, we've kind of mentioned before, but just for the people who maybe are new watching this, who are the people to look out for?
Well, Maple Freedom, Mr. Man, and Morphic and Out of Sight are typically the ones who I remember doing the most points. And some of the ones, not just fantasy, but some of the ones who stand out along the team as well. But as the team, I wouldn't say there are people who shine as frequently, as consistently as some other teams. Not that High Voltage is one of those teams either, because they're all pretty good.
Right.
And they're pretty good. They're all great.
They're really good.
And it's very hard to pick a favorite out of most of them most of the time.
Okay.
The Killzor puts up the most points on fantasy, fairly closely followed by Heavy 20. But when it comes down to actual gameplay and skill, I don't know. I'd say it depends on the match. Heavy 20, they all do a great job. Heavy 20 is probably just one of my favorite players overall in the league.
Okay.
For the entire time I've been watching him, he's been great. So
maybe
a little bit biased on that one.
No, not biased at all.
Docky's going to shed a tear.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for now our second match of the night. Maple Freedom versus High Voltage, starting out on steps. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Maple Freedom with 2 T32s, 4 T54 lightweights, and an M44. High Voltage with 2 T32s, 4 T54 lightweights, and an MX12T. I've seen a lot of steps tonight. I did not expect that to happen.
Well, maybe it's one of those things where finally they might be accepting your challenge of who's going to break that offense. They're trying to win your allegiance. Nagatron, as I know you are held so highly in the community. Now again, coming up, the one thing we've been seeing from the side here is the M44 going through on the offense. It seems to be like this might be what people have been finding. And over on the side, we've got a boost, ladies and gentlemen. High Voltage trying to boost Blue Boys captain and that T54 lightweight up on top. Let's see if he makes it. He looks like he is on track. That's always the worst feeling when these guys don't make it here. But the tank train looks like it's coming out strong. Blue Boys is up. He has made it, ladies and gentlemen. Nice job for that there.
Maple Freedom coming into the east side with 2 T32s. That'll give them the hull down advantage they need to work this area, get their M44 the better shots they need. Perhaps they can make it work better than Rival did in the last set. Other than that, I think you drastically, I wouldn't say underestimate, but I'm not sure you can get the nature of the relationship with me and the players. They don't want to earn anything from me. They want to troll me and make it as questionable and weird for me to do this as possible.
Wow.
Because that's kind of the relationship we have.
Good. Well, hey.
He picks on me, I pick on him. Just kind of works
a relationship. Hey, a relationship is a relationship either way. So that it's got to be an honor to have that with these guys. Now, starting out, David, look, truly an honor. Now, where Blue Boy's captain is positioned in that T54 up on top of the hill, he gets that boosted position there. Bringing an M44 for the side of Freedom, is that something that is wise to do? Because it seems like he's in a pretty vulnerable spot for the artillery there.
Blue Boys?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Okay.
But getting the spot on him is going to be the tricky part.
Gotcha.
He's pretty far back there. He's got a number of bushes. By the time you're able to sufficiently spot him, you're pretty much into an area. In fact, we can probably quickly check. He's actually even further back than I expected. He's in a little ravine. You're not going to spot him until you're on cap.
Okay.
And if you're trying to shoot at him at that point,
too late.
He's Blue Boys, man. He's going to dance around. You may hit him once, but you better make sure that shot one-shots him, or it's just not worth it.
Okay.
I personally would be much more focused on other tanks that you could get, tanks with better shots, because there's a number of factors there to make that M44 shot even more difficult than it looks right now. I think we have a little bit of time. Tiny bit of damage popping out on Giggles 101X there.
From Blue Boys, nice little shot.
So the thing is, Blue Boys is higher in the air than Felix, I believe. Double check where Felix is. Yes. So when Felix fires all the way up there, his shot is actually coming in shallower than you would expect, flatter than you would expect.
Wow.
So it's not dropping up and over things the way an artillery usually does, especially in the M44. It's almost more like a regular shot. There's still a little bit of arc
so a
to
lot
it.
harder to hit.
So, yeah. That shot on Blue Boys, not good. No bueno. That's all I'm trying to get to.
Gotcha. Well, now looking at High Voltage's position, as Maple Freedom was putting so much, looks like focus on that western cap, it allowed High Voltage to get this amazing spread defense across the entire northern part of this map here, all the way over to the northern cap here. And now we have JD Benjamin out of sight and USA Roxall pushing in. USA Roxall getting punished though. The kills are coming on the side. He's looking for a shot. He actually picks that one up in that T-32. USA going down, the first tank of the second match of the night. Now out of sight, in some trouble. 1,200 points of damage. Angry Guy not actually going for the ram, just going to finish it up with that last shot to clip out of sight there. Now dropping and over the center road. Another fight going through. The Killzor finding a kill left and right. Maple Freedom is going down, and High Voltage is just continuing this victory they've got going on here.
It's a fantastic pick jumping on JD Banjo, man. With more than enough to put him in the grave pretty quickly. High Voltage now, I mean, they could go try and clean up the rest of the team. They could just back up and sit in the northeast and laugh, because there's basically nothing that can happen for them to lose this battle as long as they play defensively at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll use Angry Guy to see if they can find another opening. Maybe they'll just pivot all the way around the east and try and get on the side of those T-32s. It's not unlikely they can get there. But the question is, really, just, do they even care? Do they want to try?
Right.
It's, like I said before,
they don't have
to do.
Yeah. So we could just see them sitting it out for the other 2 minutes and 30 seconds that are remaining in this battle. An artillery shot going through into Killzor. 95 points of damage, though. Sounded like it tracked him as well. Look at that crater that that shot just made there. Now, going through Alex Mathis, taking the shot. One thing, was that game kind of, pretty Giggles moving through, getting lit up by Angry Guy, and now shots going through Alex Mathis to Killzor. Beautiful focus fire onto Veggie, and that T-32 from all the way back here by the sign. That was a fantastic focus coming out from both of those tanks. 2 T-32s, and now they're on the push. It looks like Maple Freedom is just going to try to come to them. Angry Guy still sitting up there. He is not spotted. Blue Boys captain though is spotted now, and the push. The 3 T-54s hiding in the valley, coming around the corner. This looks like it's going to be a time where High Voltage is going to end it. Pushing up now, going on to Giggles, collapsing on him. 2 shots going through, heavy 20, going to get the final shot there. Lining that one up, picking another tank, going down. Now the retreat coming back, trying to find some sort of reload as they can. Veggie taking some more shots here. Mr. Man chasing Angry Guy down in that AMX 12T. Mr. Man picking that kill up, and heavy 20 now going to come over and ram Mr. Man in the back. The revenge ram for his fallen friend. Veggie going to go down, just 21 points there left on that Ampro. 304 left and just an M44 on the side of Maple Freedom. High Voltage going to pick up this first victory.
No doubt about that.
No doubt.
One thing somewhat interesting to note, and I didn't get the best look at it that I've ever gotten, but I believe, actually, hold on, I think I've got the same thing going on here. Looks like with DeKillzor and Ox Mathis, am I hallucinating, or are these slightly, one looks like the 90mm, one looks like the 105. Nope. I don't think they're both 105s. Oh man, I'm losing my mind right now. One thing was for certain, though, I believe both Maple Freedom's T-32s.
Oh, snap. Oh, wow. Damage coming into heavy 20, but Ampro going down. High Voltage, again, picking up the first victory of the match. Now, one thing that I kind of saw there, Maple Freedom taking some hesitation. They looked like they were going to go for the Eastern Cap. That didn't quite work out. And while they were debating that, High Voltage just pushed most of their members and created this whole line across the entire northern part of the map, which really kind of cut Maple Freedom off from doing anything. Why don't we see other teams do that more often? Is it just too risky to do that? Because there could be some tanks to meet along the way.
It's a good question, honestly. A lot of teams don't get the north open to them that easily, like they did in that situation.
Yeah.
So I guess they just don't take it because it's not there. But with the position they had, with Blue Boys all the way up there, recessed in the northeastern boost spot, and that spread control over the north side, there's no real weak point. You can't cap them in the east. You'll get reset by Blue Boys, no problem.
Right.
And you can't push directly into the north because it's just a death trap waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Really, the 1-2 is the only viable option at that point, but it's very easy for teams to flex away and just punish you the whole time you're doing it. Once you give up that kind of territory, it could be a problem. The eastern side is still a possibility, but it's less of one given the whole Blue Boys boost spot. Unless if nobody's up there, then you can play that eastern side fairly effectively.
Okay.
Perhaps you can get some artillery in there, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Speaking,
I think what High Voltage did there was very deadly and very hard to crack.
Absolutely, I cannot disagree with you there. Now, speaking of the artillery, bring it to the fight. Where did it not quite match up? What were the shots that they were looking for that they didn't get out of that M44?
Just direct shots on the T-32s, I think.
Okay.
The key, and they didn't really get them.
All right, well, let's see if they can get them this time, ladies and gentlemen, as we're now into the next battle. Have it on the same sides, High Voltage versus Maple Freedom. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Well, for for Maple Freedom, we have 6 T-54 lightweights and an M44. For High Voltage, a T-32 a Pershing, 4 T-54 lightweights, and a AMX 12T. Again, with the artillery on Maple's side.
Yep.
They're going to have to take the northwest in order to make that work. I think this time, the east, and I don't want to make it seem like the east is entirely entirely shut down once you have somebody in that boost spot in the northeast where Blue Boys was last time.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly makes it difficult to push the east, but it doesn't mean the east is unwinnable anymore. It doesn't mean the east is no longer worth going to. What you want to happen there is some sort of head-to-head fight.
Okay.
High Voltage played it in a way most teams don't, where they didn't give that fight away. They flexed into the north side, thus making the east side very, very unfavorable. For as long as the team does that, east side is just not as good.
Oh, but here we go. Maple Freedom getting extremely aggressive on this eastern cap. Gigo popping up, taking most of the shots, but JD Banjman getting flanked already from the back from the members of High Voltage. This does not like it's going to go in Maple Freedom's position as well. Dark to Killzor. 908 points of damage. Wallhack fighting JD Banjman. USA Roxall picking up that T-32. Now a 1-for-1 exchange going through, but Giggles is extremely low. A couple more shots, and he will go down. Heavy 20. Picking that one up, and the brawl continues. Maple Freedom versus High Voltage over on this eastern cap. Mr. Man getting dropped low, that T-54. Veggie now below half health. A couple more shots and a ramp from Wallhacks. No, Heavy 20 picking that up before Wallhacks can finish that one out. Another tank falling for Maple Freedom. 2 now as Blue Boys finds Mr. Man. Just 3 tanks remain for Maple Freedom. High Voltage doing a great job fighting these kills. Wallhacks taking out a side down. USA Roxall just picking that one up. He will go down shortly. And again, Felix in that M44 man all by himself to the mercy of 5 members of High Voltage. It looked like Maple Freedom there was going for a very aggressive push on the eastern cap, but High Voltage had those 4 members or 3 members in those T-54s really just kind of ready and waiting for that push.
Indeed. They took a route down into the valley part of steps and came up behind. And this is something that is classically one of the best ways to shut down steps, but no longer something that is done that often, because for offense to go down in that valley is almost entirely pointless at this point in time.
Gotcha.
It's risky. It provides all sorts of overmatches on its own. Maybe sending a T-37 or something to scout it out would have been a good idea, but overall, stepping into that trap, I don't think Maple Freedom assaulted it the best way they could, but High Voltage also broke out some very interesting stuff on their part. Once it came down to an actual tank-on-tank, there was just no contest.
Yeah, High Voltage absolutely in the driver's seat that entire time. Now, Heavy 20 was Gavin Ampro driving right around. Felix, though, is spotted by Angry Guy. There's nothing he wants happening. He's going to see if he can get a shot off. No, not a single shot. Felix going down. Heavy 20 picking that one up. And High Voltage taking 2 victories on defense on steps. Now we are going to be switching sides, so let's see how they can do on offense themselves. But going in there, is that something if High Voltage didn't have those 3 T-54s, I believe, in the valley there, and Maple Freedom did that very aggressive push? I'm sorry. Is that something that could have worked out for them there if let's say they were High Voltage running a more standard defense?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. But High Voltage would have had to have not moved into the northwest like they did last time.
Right.
Or big problems start popping up at that point. There's still a chance. I mean, if you go onto the east cap and you block correctly and you don't let people come back and you put enough tanks on there, perhaps you get lucky and shoot Blue Boys when Blue Boys is trying to fire at you.
Yeah.
Then you can east cap. Blue Boys doesn't really have a hull down. So if you can get a hull down in that northeastern spot, that might shut down the entire east.
Wow.
Honestly.
Okay.
But I don't know if there is one up there. I haven't driven around up there personally that much, and I don't know the logistics of boosting. Whatever. I'm not going to get into speculation at this point. It's running with an idea. So, no. If they go into the eastern side against high voltage, I don't think it affords them a very good example.
Work out.
But
Okay.
we've talked to death about how the north isn't a particularly good situation either.
Right.
I just don't understand why anybody's letting themselves play steps right now. I know high voltage wasn't super concerned about playing it because they're probably pretty good at it. And against a team like Maple, there's a chance they can bully their way through it.
And if they're on defense, they might be able to pick up a few victories against a more skilled team because it's so in that defensive favor.
Maple, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Well, a map like this
then?
against a skilled team,
No.
I don't think you want to play at all because they'll be better at defense and offense than you. You want a more balanced thing where mines, for example, where perhaps the better team can make a mistake.
Okay.
On any of the matches,
Whew.
whereas
Maple Freedom now in a tough position.
It's just not a map I'd want to play as Maple Freedom at all.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Maple Freedom is on defense on steps. We've switched sides. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks and see if Maple Freedom can pull out a few victories.
Maple Freedom with 2 T-32s, 4 T-54 lightweights, and a T-21 high voltage. I guess hashtag high voltage. We'll go with that.
High voltage.
2 RU-251s, 4 T-54 lightweights, and AMX-12T. I was already starting to read the RU-251.
There. Okay.
So
yeah,
it's like in my
that makes
head,
sense.
hashtag RU.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
No artillery.
artillery. I don't think they particularly need it. There are 2 T-32s and high voltage. Oxmathis is playing today,
Yeah.
so maybe they should have, but I guess they're confident enough in whatever their offensive plan is that they can get it done without it. That piques my interest. I want to see what high voltage wants to do here on offense with no artillery. There's got to be something tricky.
Maybe we're gonna finally see that northern
I hope it's
boost
something
again.
Tricky.
No.
If it's not, they could very well lose.
Oh, okay.
So,
Gotcha.
no. I just expect good things from them because a lot of times their strategy is very diverse and typically very well thought out.
Now, yeah. Looking at you, we were kind of explaining if you're in Maple Freedom's, if you're in Maple Freedom's shoes, and you're going against, one of the top teams right now in the season. What is the best opportunity you have as a team lower down to fight toe-to-toe with teams that are this experienced and this skilled, especially individual members on high voltage, because like we were saying before, they're just each one of them have so much skill.
That's the thing is against a team like high voltage, Oxmath is getting lit up immediately.
Or popping over now, finding every guy though, finding Felix to respond for what was done to Oxmathis there. Nice little tank trade. I mean, half health on Oxmathis for a tank. I mean, I would say I'd take that.
So what I was saying is, against a team like high voltage, there isn't one simple key to victory. They're too comfortable playing messy. They don't have they are scripted to a certain sense, but disrupting that script doesn't typically throw them off that much.
Wow.
And getting into a messy fight where it's one-on-ones plays more into their favor. They're not a team where there's just some gimmicky way to win.
Right.
Perhaps there is. A lot of time I wouldn't say this, but today Elevate made a lot of mistakes in their spread control.
Okay.
And if you can create those mistakes somehow, or if you just get lucky, then that is a weakness of Elevate itself. It's their spread control doesn't allow them to play and compensate for things going wrong as well. It's just more geared towards making sure things don't go wrong.
Gotcha.
So
that sounds terrifying.
But I mean, playing both teams is a terrifying ordeal. Elevate, if they play the best they can, is with the way that strategy works, it's daunting. You can't make a single mistake, and you have to play aggressive in order to beat it. Otherwise, you just trade defensive wins. That's pretty much how it works.
Gotcha.
High voltage, though. High voltage is a team that concerns me quite a bit if I had to play them. Mr. Man coming all the way out here, just kind of in the open. Seems like it's only a matter of time until he's dead, honestly.
Yeah, another shot going out there, picking up heavy 20, finding a shot where Blue Boys captains. Looks like he might be able to pick this one up from the hill, as Mr. Man should go down any time. No, the shot's going into Giggles back there, that T-32. Nice chunk of damage. He's well below half health. Mr. Man now might actually be able to run. A shot going, getting tracked, 160 points of damage there. One more and he'll go down. Angry Guy picking that one up, but here's the response from Maple Freedom. Will it be enough? JD Benjamin out of sight, and USA Roxall coming over fast on the railroad tracks. Blue Boys captain in some trouble. He needs to do a good job kind of dancing and stalling for time. Let's see if High Voltage is going to respond. There's the shots going out. JD Benjamin just going straight for Blue Boys, but the shots, he getting tracked. Nice shots going out there. It looks like that was from Woltage or Mathis, one of the two there. And now, JD Benjamin, a lot of focus fire there going from the back. He is now trying to use Blue Boys as a shield. JD picking that one up. Blue Boys going down. And now USA and out of sight, along with JD over on the other side of the railroad tracks, switching sides. Looks like High Voltage there backing off a little bit. And looks like their focus is now just to go to the east. They're like, fine, you want the northern cap, you can take it. We're going to go find Giggles and Veggie here. Heavy 20. Chasing that one down with the kills or shots going out. Giggles being the first one to be focused. The kills or shot is reloaded. Let's see. Giggles going down. Beautiful double tap there coming out. Heavy 20 picking that one up. And now just Veggie by himself over here with the rest of High Voltage. JD Benjamin and Outside on their way back to try to do their best to defend. Angry Guy taking some nice shots in that 12T all the way from the back. Picking up USA Rocks All as he makes his cross. Veggie and JD Benjamin now kind of stuck with out of sight here on top of the hill. But they got to push because the eastern cap pressure is on. Aux Mathis is the one applying that one. 2 tanks, actually, from the side of High Voltage. And here's the battle up on top. Shots going out back and forth, but the HP is in favor of High Voltage as well as the number of tanks. It is a 6-on-4. And if this continues to go, High Voltage should be able to pick this one up as well. Veggie getting tracked there to kills or exchanging shots with out of sight. Out of sight coming out just a little more hurt there. 12 seconds on the clock. Veggie trying to find some sort of shot there. Out of sight, pushing on the way through. JD Benjamin going down. Wall hacks, taking the shot from the base capture point. Now out of sight is the next focus. One more shot, he'll go down. Wall hacks picks that one up as well. The cap down to 0, and High Voltage picking up another victory now on offense. Onto steps, making it 3-0 for the side of for the side of High Voltage against Maple Freedom. Now we didn't see an artillery, and they successfully attacked steps. What was it there? Was it Mathis going extremely aggressive and picking up Felix? I mean, why did that work out for them when it didn't work out for Elevate or for Rival the first time?
They put on enough cap pressure, and Mr. Man had to go for it to get the reset.
Okay.
To get the spotting for the reset, I guess. Giving away him, which pretty much limited Maple Freedom's options in a way.
Okay.
To where they felt like they had to get a tier 8 pick to make up for the one they lost. I'm not sure that's true.
Okay.
Because they're on defense. But it is something easily thought of or easily felt in that situation. What it really came down to, though, was that ill-fated push over the rail line to try and pick up Blue Boys.
Yeah.
Successfully picking up Blue Boys. And that's a situation where it's like, well, if you can catch High Voltage by surprise, perhaps that's their weakness. No, That's not something they didn't plan for.
No.
Like, well, if anybody goes after Blue Boys, we'll just pivot in the east side.
Right.
What could have stopped that is somebody up in the boost spot in the northeast. That could have made that much more difficult proposition for High Voltage, but they knew there wasn't anyone there. They checked it before they went, pivoted over, then it was just easy. They started picking off T-32s, getting the isolations they wanted. One interesting thing I noted there was Heavy 20 driving away from the engagement with the T-32. He was a little bit further past the berm there than DeKillzor was. So he was kind of at risk.
Okay.
And I think he realized that. What he ended up doing is he used the living T-32 to kind of carry him away without being shot by other T-54s.
Genius.
And the T-32 had to help him do that because if he stopped,
he'll get
then
shot.
He would get shot by DeKillzor as well. So it's this thing where Heavy 20 somehow just kind of magically walked his way out of it, and he really should have died. There was a number of shots that should have connected either way, but it's a good bit of play from him and a number of mistakes from Maple Freedom and skill plus luck.
Well, yeah, but like we were saying, High Voltage just doing so well in those chaotic moments, really showing it there. Ladies and gentlemen, to our next battle, High Voltage up 3-0. Same sides as last time. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Maple Freedom with a T-32, 5 T-54 lightweights, and a 59-16. High Voltage with an IS-3, a T-32, an RU-251, 3 T-54 lightweights, and an M44.
Hey!
That's different. Perhaps heralding an Eastern play, RU-251 can get there very quickly, so he's a good leading scout. Then you have an IS-3 and a T-32 in order to bully the east side with the M44 to help you handle any T-32s that are there. Seems like a nice lineup for that to me. Perhaps you could do something with it in the north. That is the most obvious thing to me. Looks like they're going into the north anyways, so doubly intriguing for me to see exactly how that gets there, or how that works out. Perhaps it's for the meta to stop or to make Maple Freedom do this. I don't know if Maple Freedom you can depend on them to reliably kind of see what I'm seeing in this instance. Not that what I'm seeing is particularly great, but it causes Maple Freedom to do what they're doing here, because that T-32, you want to catch him before he gets into the eastern side if you can.
Okay.
Realistically, the most important thing to do for Maple Freedom if they saw that coming, was just to get a scout on it and position more tanks in order to punish incoming tanks and try and deny them from getting into the east side in general. But High Voltage just doing something I don't particularly understand yet.
Great.
Perhaps see some
This is always fun.
See it develop into something more. It's certainly fun for me. I like seeing things I don't quite immediately understand.
Right.
4 T-54 lightweights over the tracks. This is aggressive for Maple Freedom, but if Blue Boys see them coming, and he did with one of the best spots I've ever seen, honestly.
Wow. 4 tanks lit up for the side of Maple Freedom. Blue Boys, great job there. Ladies and gentlemen, on the left and the right, you see the light bulbs. When a light bulb is lit up, that means the tank has been spotted, and Maple Freedom, 4 of them lit up immediately there. So let's see how High Voltage can respond to this, because that definitely might have saved him there.
Use this mountain, if you can call it that, right on the right side of my screen. Rolled up that with an RU-251 to get a deep spot over the rail line. Beautiful, beautiful. A lot of scouts don't really learn those key positions, and they just drive it like a regular tank that's faster with higher DPM or whatever, right?
Right.
That is actual scouting. That's the difference between being a light tank driver and a scout. And Blue Boys is always, not always, but ever since roughly, I'd say, season 3 or so, perhaps over about a year ago, he started being an excellent scout.
Gotcha. Just finding those positions.
It's not a title I give out easily.
All right. Wow. Earning the respect of Nagatron, getting the medal of Scout. Well done, Blue Boys captain.
Yeah,
now,
he's had that medal from a lot of people for a long time. Nothing new for him.
Oh, okay. Well, that. Now I know. The more you know, ladies and gentlemen. Now, going over here, though, like we were saying, Maple Freedom kind of stuck. It seems like over on the side of these railroad tracks. The Kills are now taking some shots. They're pushing over Mr. Man, going through. Going to be the first one across the sides. The Kills are exchanging sides. Let's see who comes out on top from this little skirmish here. Mr. Man taking the shots. Anfield having to get over as well. If Mr. Man chases him, this might not be good for him. One shot from the Kills, or another one going to Anfield, actually getting the ram. Looks like Mr. Man drove right into that one. And now the response, Anfield coming over the top, taking the shot. JD Banjaman fighting the first kill onto the Killzor. But now there is just 2 tanks back there with the 5 of High Voltage. Alex Mathis in the M44 picking up out of sight. And Pro dropping USA Rocks All. Just 3 tanks remain for the side of Maple Freedom. Now 2 Blue Boys captain. Just killing it today. Going on the way through. Veggie left in his T-32, finding a shot onto Ant Pro. And we've got Felix fighting with Ox Madness. The shot going through, and Ox Madness picking it up onto Felix. David, I'm so excited. I wanted to see another highlight reel with Ox Madness, and that one is going in.
I don't think he hit him.
Oh!
I think Felix rammed him suicidally. I swear I saw, like, I heard the sound.
Oh,
what?
Man.
That
what
shot,
the
Ox.
heck?
What the?
Ox Madness.
Okay, that. Jeez, that's like.
This
that's
guy.
top 2 highlights for next week, I guess.
It's going to be like number 2, Ox Mathis. Number 1, Ox Mathis.
Send both the replays in. Send them both, because we're going to have to use them both. Or I guess that's only 1 replay. What am I thinking? Either way, like, what?
1, 2. Good for them.
Felix, I swear he rammed himself to death on Ox just then. He had to have.
Whatever, that was crazy.
Either I saw everything completely wrong and I need like all sorts of medical help, or
we'll get you that.
Or he rammed himself to death. But he just pivoted and let that shot fly on the T-32, and I swear he hit him for like 500 damage at least.
Whatever.
It was more than a little bit. Ooh, let's go to stats.
Let's do it.
I guess.
Let's check out Ox.
There hasn't really been a whole lot of stats worth highlighting here. JD Banjaman with a perfect 1,000 damage. I mean, I guess that's kind of interesting in the fact that it's just
straight 1,000.
Heavy 20, 550 damage away from elite damage. It's also worth highlighting. Okay. But for seriously here,
seriously.
Heavy 20 leading his team with roughly or close to 2,000. You know, I actually thought about putting him on the team today, but I just knew Docky would cry too much. I didn't want to deal with it. So, anyways, the rest of the team. Here's what I came here for. Ox Mathis, 2 hits, 2 penetrations for 1454.
Oh man,
that's a lot per shot.
Yeah.
I mean, just wow. That whole match, man.
Good job.
Had it. Maple Freedom had him. They didn't collapse on the 2 tier 8s or the 2 heavies fast enough to kill him. They had him. They just kind of, I don't understand why it transpired that way. Most of High Voltage was drastically out of position. It could have been an easy cleanup. But on top of that, there were 2 tanks missing for Maple Freedom. I'm not entirely sure why they pushed 4 into essentially what could have been 6.
Okay.
I don't know. Just a confusing transpiration of events in that situation. But High Voltage playing way better and winning.
Just doing what they do apparently in the chaotic moments. And Ox Mathis absolutely shining there. Ladies and gentlemen, our next battle, our 5th battle of our second match is ready. High Voltage up 4-0 against Maple Freedom. We're under Ruinberg. Let's take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Maple Freedom with a 5100, 3 IS3s, a T54 lightweight, and 2 LTTBs. High Voltage with a 5100, 2 IS3s, a 1390, 2 T54 lightweights, and a T37. It's interesting if you look at High Voltage's lineup. The top 3 are essentially heavier versions of the next 3.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Now, if you were, I mean, this might just be me. This obviously is not logical at all. There's no strat in this. But if you're Ox Mathis and you just have a game like that where you get a really sweet shot off, and obviously you're known for your artillery, is Ruinberg just not a map for artillery on offense?
No, not really. Not really
Okay.
on offense. I suppose you could shoehorn one in, but it's very easily handled.
Gotcha. I was just gonna say, man,
pretty much
if you're
have to
Maple
go.
Freedom, like, oh, just give up. Ox Mathis is just killing it.
I'm not going to go so far as to say they should just give up.
Well,
they could easily.
Well, no.
Well, maybe not easily, but they could win 4 in a row here, Christian. It's maybe exceedingly unlikely because
Sure.
it is High Voltage, and they're not the type to just throw away 4 games in a row. Maybe 1, maybe 2, 4. I don't know.
All right.
Nice move coming out from High Voltage here. Already starting to look very well put together. Heavy 20 all the way into the west side by himself in the 5100. He can pretty much kill both of those LTTBs if he stumbles across them. But if he misses a single shot, or if he doesn't get a solid ram in, it could be very, very awkward for him in the long run. Oh, that's one thing I want to point out from last match. Anfield's just slight twist and reverse ram to pick up Mr. Man.
Right.
That whole match, that whole game was just mystifying.
Full of wonderful things happening left and right. And again, High Voltage just coming out on top against Maple Freedom. Now, cap pressure being applied there. Angry Guy and wall hacks, a T37 and an IS3, dropping it down to 29 seconds, or 2 tanks. Let's see how Maple Freedom can respond. They are set up in Delta Village. The question is, how much damage will they take when they pop out to try to get these resets on the caps? Only time will tell here. Mr. Man now going against Heavy 20, the 5100, with Giggles. 2 LTTBs against the 5100. Let's see how this shot can, how this battle inspires as there is just 16 seconds left. Now Mr. Man taking a lot of ram damage from the 5100, and the shot to finish it off to Killzor, now making it back in time to help his main man Heavy 20 out. Coming in the corner, Giggles is not safe whatsoever behind that fountain there, as another shot will pick it up over in the north. JD Banjaman picking up wall hacks. Time to get back to see what's happening over there. Felix in the IS3 extremely low. 1 or 2 more shots should do it for there. Angry Guy taking a good chunk of damage, getting dropped to about half health. Maple Freedom bullying High Voltage off. They do have the overmatch, so High Voltage wisely buying some time for the rest of his team, the rest of their team to come back. But now they have no pressure coming from the city. Here we go. Ox Mathis now surrounded. Felix fighting Angry Guy there. Let's see if he can be found himself. The kills are coming in the corner, taking the shot right when he peeks. A nice pick up there. And Blue Boys fighting USA Roxall. 2 tanks going down, just 3 remain for Maple Freedom. High Voltage with 5. Let's see if they can continue cleaning this one up, or if Maple Freedom can fight back and claw their way from this crazy deficit. The Killzor and JD Banjaman exchanging some shots there. Heavy 20 finding Veggie. The Killzor finding JD, and now it is just out of sight by himself, running in that 5100. He is on the reload, 28 seconds left. But again, 6 shots. Almost every single one of those would have to one-shot the entire High Voltage team. And I'm not sure that is possible.
It's not.
All right.
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose it is.
Bunch of ammo racks and setting them on fire.
Everybody would have to already have their ammo rack damaged, no repair kits in order to, and then you'd have to have like the most absurdly impossible critical rolls of all time. Again, it is slightly possible.
But
not anymore.
not anymore. Blue Boys
Certainly
captain.
not doing it from the grave.
Taking
GG High Voltage 5-0 against Maple Freedom.
Absolutely. Some crazy, fantastic, and almost questionable plays from both teams coming out, but it really working out in the favor of High Voltage there. Just better, like you were saying, in those chaotic moments and really showing it there, coming out on steps, picking up 4 victories in a row, finishing that one off on Ruinberg. I mean, David, looking back, is there anything that kind of stuck out to you from that matchup, or just something?
Well, Game 4, all of Game 4 sticks out to me. Let's
go
go to
back-
statistics
go
for
back
a
and
minute.
watch
There's
that.
one thing we want to cover here.
Great. Stats it is.
Heavy 20 11 shots, 11 hits, 10 penetrations overall for 2.7k
Wow.
damage. I had to sit here with my eyes closed for a couple seconds after that match ended, and you guys can peep the rest of these. Nothing particularly. Ox Mathis, 5 for 5 and an ice 3. Nothing else really stand out. Not that people doing nearly 2,000 damage in any tank isn't stand out. I mean, Ant Pro, Blue Boys, Ducky, all did fairly well.
Yeah.
Wallhacks died pretty quickly. I don't know if that's necessarily stand out or one. Anyways, I had to sit there with my eyes closed for a second, just mentally paying respects to my fantasy team today. I really wanted to pick Heavy 20 today, and I talked myself out of it.
Don't do it.
A couple minutes before I went because I was like, Doc Hillsor's just never gonna let it go.
He did.
And he just did me wrong today.
Well,
I
that's
should have
what they say.
known.
You
Should have known.
always
Heavy 20 was gonna
go.
put up points today.
You always go with your first guess, David. They teach that in elementary school. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our second match done. Match number 3, which is going to be Wk7 versus Game Over, is coming up.